Hello, everyone. Wow, that's great. Welcome to today's webinar. If you don't mind, I'll just put you guys all mute. And while we are waiting for more people to come in. Okay. All right. All right. Hi, Susan. Thanks for being here. Good to see you here. Hi, Honey. Thanks for being here, guys. All right. Well, perfect. Again, hello everyone. Thanks for being here today. I know it's 5:30 p.m. on Perth time. We got such a gloomy day today. Probably that's one of the best places to be online and learning about our money and future. Um, as part of our new series that we're running every week, I will be here at 5:30 p.m. So to run through different aspects of money and finance, and I'll give you my 2 cents in there. So if you can make it, it is fine. I understand, but every week will be a different topic. So I'm sure if you see some more posts from me or receive some emails, invitation to Thursday webinars, well, I can guarantee you every week will be a different topic. One of the things that everybody asked me that why I'm doing this. Okay, just wanted to share with you that I had this option to record some programs similar to what I'm doing for my YouTube channel and just play it on and just send it to everyone. But I've learned during all these years of me working in finance area that we usually tend not to go there, sit there and watch the recorded stuff because we like interactions, especially after COVID. We like to be there. We want to, give our opinion. We want to ask questions, which is great, and that shows that we have passed that stage of just sitting there, being a bystander, and listening just to news and not to have our own views. So even though it is obviously it's much harder to run a live webinar rather than a recorded one, because in recorded one I can just something say something wrong or a cough or I don't know and sneeze and then later on delete that section, but it's live. And before I continue, I have to tell you actually since yesterday, since last night, I came down with something. I don't know what it is, which obviously we know these days everybody is a bit under the weather. Just in case I start coughing, please excuse me for that. So yes, I just have to run and grab some water, although I've got my water here. But yes, we'll see how we go. That's one of the benefit of doing a live webinar. Okay, today's webinar, we are talking about financial planning, and the title was about that why I think financial planning is like driving. You may think that this is such a interesting analogy, or how can you even compare these two together? So that's why stay with me, and I will tell you more about it. Um, I assume everybody who is in this call is they already drive, and because I know some adults who don't love drive, they don't even have a driver license. But I know whoever is in this call, they know how to drive. They have a car, and even they grew up with a car. Car, okay, we live in the country which is full of course, wealth and abundance. But there are people who have brought up in the countries and places that they were not that much privileged to grow up with having everybody in the family member having a car. So that's why I've always noticed the people who already drive a car. So they already know. I mean, when I ask them, I said that okay, when did you decide that you're gonna drive a car? And they just think. I mean, I basically ask you this question: when was the first time you thought that? Well, of course. I mean, when I grow up, I have to drive a car. Or did you say, oh my God, I don't know how to drive a car. I'm going to be scared. I have to always, have someone else to drive me around. Obviously not. It was just came by second nature. Why? Because we grew up with it. We saw our parents, our family member, everybody sitting behind the wheel and take us from A to B. And it just became natural, just became a second nature. And that, my question is this, but why, when it comes to financial planning, we think, oh my God, stay away, or we don't want to go see a financial planner because we feel so intimidated, or we think we don't have enough money, or let's wait to reach to that level before we go and do something. This is exactly the reason that I like to compare these two together, because they both are action. They both are all depends on you. And of course, not everybody is a great driver. Some of us are good at, driving and maneuvering around the traffic. Some people are excellent in parking their like a double parking, or finding or parking in a very small spaces. We all have our own expertise or our preference when it comes to driving. Similar to that, when it comes to financial planning, it is as easy as driving a car. All you need to know is just to know the rules. Forget about that, okay, you have to drive in the highway. Okay, imagine this, when you went to drive a car or learn to drive a car, obviously from beginning nobody expected you, or actually you were not allowed to drive in a very busy highway. That's fair to say, because imagine you going through all those like multiple bridges coming all around each other. So it just, I imagine driving in Dubai, for example. It is, even as an experienced driver, it is frightening to be in that level, because we never thought about that. We already knew that, okay, first I have to drive, sit behind the wheel, do just a bit of around the block, and then step by step we'll go there. And that's why we have, first we need to get our L license, learner license, and then after a certain period we can get to a provisional license. And then after that, after 2 years, and with a good behavior and good driving skill, then we will take out all signs out, and that means we are experts. So similar to that, we don't need to be from beginning as a financial planner to become a financial planner. You don't need to know everything about every financial instrument out there. And I believe that's the part that scares people, because they think, I don't know enough. And when mind says I don't know enough, that's the time that we refuse to learn, we refuse even to take action. And one thing that I learned over years is confused mind always says no to things, because we are not good at just going there and say, look, I don't know, please teach me. Even as a financial advisor these days, there are certain financial instruments that even I don't know. And there is no shame in admitting things that we don't know, and what are our preference and what we like to work with. For example, when I'm talking to my clients, I tell them, if you ask me about shares and stuff, because I don't believe in it myself, I'm not be a right person to advise you there. But when it comes to property, I'm 100% in there. So don't be scared of financial planning. It can be as easy as driving. So this is the analogy that I use that to teach people, especially for women. Sorry, at the moment we have only one man here, but the rest are women. I know, please don't feel offended, but unfortunately that's the truth. When it comes to money, women, they like to say that, oh, I'm not very good at with money, or money subject is very hard, or I just leave it to my spouse or partner to look after the money side. And unfortunately that is where the problem begins. We are responsible for our own finances, and because that's life, we need to know what's happening, and in case something goes on in life, so then we know where to start and how to do things. Again, going back to my first analogy, have you ever thought of that? Okay, of course, when we were young, or even now, I see these days there are this like a time zone, or like a virtual, reality places that you go there and wear those goggles and drive a car. Okay, it is all fun, but is this the way to learn how to drive a car? You will agree that is not. I'm sure if you have even aced the best program online, or even in the time zone, you aced all the drivings, or not playing Super Mario or whatever, that wouldn't give you permission to drive. You still have to go and read the manuals, know exactly what are the rules, and then go for a test, and that's it, then you're done. But why, when it comes to financial planning, we think if we don't know enough, or that means we are not able to learn, or we are not going further? Unfortunately, that is where the problem is, and because we haven't brought up to see that financial planning, it is easy. And like for you, when you're going to a financial planner to do your financial plans, with all the respect to other advisor out there, the way that I see it happening these days, it is actually their plan for you. There is actually a very funny meme. You can search it up later on Google, and it says, um, a person goes to a financial planner, and the person said that yes, your profile seems all perfect, it all makes sense, but your dreams we have to adjust. So, is your dream congruent with your financial plan? If what you want to do is the same as what is happening in your financial plan, do you know where you are standing? What is the next action to take? So, what I would like to now take you further from this is that, have you ever played with the fake money, or let's say monopoly games? As well as if you ever even done trading shares or forex, there is a concept they call it paper trading, meaning that yes, you first play with the fake money, but you apply the rules in there, and then you when you get enough confidence, then you'll go and play with the real money. Okay, maybe the first idea sounds great, but many people, they still stuck there, even if they'll become the best trader or the best person, or win all the games in Monopoly. But when it comes to real life, they don't know how to do it, because that's where the emotion kicks in when it comes to money. In my experience of more than 20 years in finance, one thing I learned, and I know for sure, is that, and doesn't matter how advanced we become, is when it comes to money, human being, it just works based on fear and greed. All our emotions are based on these two. And a good financial plan is when consciously we take both these elements out of it. Means we don't make a decision because we are fear of the situation, or we are greedy, which I'm sure whoever is here in this card, you are not in that category, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. So, and I'm not saying you're running with the fear, but if we look back at our financial decisions so far, it doesn't matter how much we try to justify our decisions, we can say easily that yes, most of it was done based on fear. With show of hands, can you please let me know if anybody here is worried about the current inflation rate that's happening in Australia and over the world? Yeah? Okay. Almost, yes. And how about the interest rate? Interest rate is gone up. It's now, since March we went up, so at least about 1.5%. I'm sure some of you might be feeling a bit not scared, but yeah, concerned about what's going to happen. These are all valid points, and there's no shame in there to admit it. But with the proper financial plan that is done for you, the way when I say done for you is means you will do your own financial plan with the help and guidance of a financial advisor or your financial coach. Then this is how you make your financial decision recession proof, and also you just do it the way that nothing, no matter what happens out there, it's not going to affect it. Of course, life is full of surprises. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and another virus comes in, or another economy crash, or global financial crisis happens. We don't know about those things. But this is the time that when we know our financial plan, means planning for future, whether it's a short term or long term goals, that's not going to affect our immediate life. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to sleep, nicely at night without worrying about, oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow, or now again next month Reserve Bank is going to have another meeting, and I don't know what's going to be, the interest rate. Can I afford it or not? The number of people who have contacted me in the last 2 3 weeks and asking only about interest rate is just, to me, it shows that how much people are unaware of what's happening in finance, and how much they don't know how to manage their finance. So everybody wants to have the best possible rate. They want to have, the inflation, of course, is great when we have assets, because we think, wow, great, my asset, if the inflation means the value of my assets is improving, or the value of my shares are improving. So, but is this really good for the whole economy, for the whole community? So these are the things that you need to learn in terms of, becoming a good financial planner for your life. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to go back to uni or do a very different, another study, because I know we all passed that. But we are responsible to learn more about the finance, that at least what is affecting our current life. And when I say you are responsible, it's not that, again, you need to go read everything. Whatever you prefer to work on, you need to learn and do it. Because some people, the source of their learning is news. That's the worst thing somebody can do, is go to news and try to learn about economy and finance. What you hear in the news is just fear-based, because that's the only way that they can sell news. Personally, I don't even listen to news, because I know it's just there's only bad news there. Technically, the good news are only those ones that we don't even care. Okay, what happened to Queen's dog, or this or that, or those cute news, I call it. So when it comes to your financial plan, it is you who can make it and build it with the help of a financial advisor. But before even you go there, you need to know certain things. You need to know, what does it mean to you? This instrument, when I say instrument, means, okay, is it good to invest in property or versus shares? And I'm not saying it's not good to invest in shares. It depends on you. We all have our own preferences. And as long as we have knowledge, and of course we know the consequence of our decisions, to me it is all fine. Because the last thing we want to do is make a decision and something happens and instead, oh, immediately we want to change it. Money decision is something we need to stick with it. Okay, and I'm not saying that you're going to marry with it forever. Not even marriage is not going to last that long. Don't worry. But it is something that you need to know that, okay, is this something that I like to do? Okay, is this something that is good for me for now? Again, for example, I spoke to a client yesterday, and which actually was hoping they will turn on tonight. They'll come to this event tonight, but their situation is just a young family. They have a young baby, and now they just bought their first home, and of course they have some money, and they don't know whether they should reduce their mortgage or they go and invest. Okay, let's say for this example, you may go to someone, okay, the same client. After, of course, I'll go through their details, because now we just had the initial talk. I haven't gone through all their fact find to know their other assets, or their risk appetite, or their term of short-term goal and long-term goal. I haven't gone through those ones yet. Just by talking about that to a friend, if one friend or someone could say to you, oh, of course, you need to pay off your own mortgage first. You are paying so much interest. And so, yeah, that seems very reasonable. But at the same time, someone else will say, no, that's don't even do that. You can take that money and go and invest in something better. So this is exactly the conversation I had with this client. They said that they don't know who to listen, and but they are smart enough to, before making any decisions, they want to find the answer for it, to know, are they doing a proper decision or a good decisions for their future and their family's future. And that's why when we say that, okay, and I told them again about the driving and why financial planning is similar to driving. When we drive, when we are in the car, why we have the side mirror, why we have the mirror at the front, because we want to just keep checking, make sure at the back there is nobody there, or if we are changing the lane, so that we are not gonna caught in an accident. But there is something we called, and there is called blind spot. Whoever driving knows that concept of blind spot. Sometimes even we check the mirror, but still, if we don't do a proper head check, we're going to miss something. Why? Because of the blind spot. The same things we have for financial planning. That even if you know a few things, even if you've done some research, and so you talk to some friends, or and you thought, well, you got it all under control, and then you'll go do things. It's just because you are not aware of those blind spots. You may get caught in something that really damage your whole plan, and that's where the financial coach comes in, or your financial advisor can help you to see the blind spots. Again, a few people, how many of you were tempted to invest money in cryptocurrency? Okay, no? Well, I have to admit, I was. Okay, definitely I was one of them, and it's not because of last year. Okay, and it was because when Bitcoin came in, okay, many years ago, I remember I was already part of this, financial development and self-development, and trying to understand the concept of money and the money mindset. Of course, I was in finance for many years, and the whole idea I started the money mindset things was that why I tell my clients do this, and it's already working for everyone, and even work for myself, but why they are not taking the advice. And it's not that because they don't trust me or something, otherwise they wouldn't come to me. Why they are not doing it, and that really frustrated me. But then I realized it's all about their mindset, because their mindset tells them that, oh, they don't have enough faith in the economy or in the actual products, or it wasn't about me. So at first, obviously, I used to take it personally, that if you don't want to take my advice, why you're coming to me and pay for it? But then realize it is all about mindset, money mindset. And that time when I started that, and that was actually the time the concept of cryptocurrency came along, and obviously Bitcoin was the hit. And I remember those good days that the Bitcoin was even about 4 cents. Can you believe it? If I put money, even $1,000 in there, by now, I mean, not now, but by last year, the amount of money I would have made by passive income, been unbelievable. Yes, of course, I had that, temptation that I wish I should have done it. But when I go back, and even last year, some people, they contacted me and said that, oh, they want to put some money and take the money from their super fund and put it into bitcoins or cryptocurrency. I told them, look, I've done this study, so I know, because I wanted to do it myself, but I've done this study, and I know personally I'm not going to be able to take on that emotional roller coaster with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I will not be able to handle it. And for that reason, I'm not going to do it. Look, now we are doing these talks, which is on, let's say, 28th of July 2022. We don't know by next month what's going to happen to Bitcoin. Will be another rise up happens, or no, it's just going to completely floor and diminish? We don't know. We don't have the crystal globe to just find out, okay, what's going to happen in future. But one thing for sure I know is it doesn't matter whether the Bitcoin again rise up or is just going to be absolutely smashed forever and gone, and become the hoax of this generation. I know for a fact that I'm not regretting whatever decision I made. And that's the whole financial planning is about. It's not about that every decision you make is correct. Similar to, again, go back to driving, it's not about, have you ever thought of driving is, like a hit and miss, that, okay, I'll drive, I'll sit, behind the wheel. It's either I'm going to get to my destination or not. The thought of it even is crazy. We won't be able to do that. Okay, so everybody in the right frame of mind, even the young people who love to drive a car, so they know they can't just sit there and without knowing how to drive. So that's the whole idea of that, and why financial planning is so important. And it's very similar to driving. When I say to driving, now I like to compare that the important factor of GPS, which obviously all the cars now have it, all the smart cars and these D&H cars have it. And when it comes to driving cars, it doesn't matter where you are at. At the moment, we all are sitting in a different spot in our city, country, wherever we are. Okay, so of course the financial plan or the guide, let's say we all want to go to, because I know, okay, at least I know 3 of you guys are in Perth, couple of you, I know one person is in Dubai and one person in Tehran. Imagine we all want to go to, let's say, Singapore, okay, a place which is nobody is in there yet. Okay, so we need to know, of course, how to get there. Being in Australia, of course, we cannot drive there. We have to take the different way of going there. But imagine, okay, driving doesn't have to be about the car. It could be driving about a plane. So we know from where we are, we have to book a flight from this place to go to Singapore. So the route from me will be absolutely different to yours and the other person. Similar to that means having a GPS in the car. So where I am now, okay, at least for the 3 people who are in Perth, so I'm sure we all are living in a different side of Perth. If we want to go to Perth CBD, so when we sit in the car, we cannot take the same route, all of us. We agree? So we have to look at the GPS or give the address to GPS and takes us different direction. And guess what happens? In the middle, if there are roadworks, which is obviously always at the moment happens in Perth, so what's going to happen? You'll navigate around it, even though you don't know the route, but the GPS knows the route, how to go from now this road, even if there is closed sign, and you take another route. That's the work of GPS, and that's why if you are driving the car, you have enough confidence to still drive it. You're not going to ditch the car and say the road is now broken and that's it, I'm not going to drive. Okay, have you ever thought of it? This is impossible, because why is it the road's fault? No, or it's not to do about your driving skills. It's about that, okay, this has happened out of your control, but now how we can maneuver around it. Very similar to financial planning. Once we know the concrete reason or the basic things, we don't worry about what's going to happen on the way, whether the interest rate is gone up, whether there is a news about inflation, whether there is a news about the property price is going to go down. We don't care. We're just going to maneuver around it. We are not going to go there and ditch our financial decisions based on what we hear or what happens. But how we do it? Of course, we do it through, if you've got a GPS, you look at the GPS when you are driving. But when you have a coach or financial advisor who can help you, who you can rely on their advice, you will go and check with them. But one thing that I really like to stress on that is, even though I said that financial planning is similar to driving, what I like to think about it, that financial planning is more about teaching you how to fish rather than giving you a fish every day. Okay, so it's not about that, okay, every time I have a problem, I'll go to a financial advisor and ask them to fix it or tell me what to do. It's great. They are there for that reason. But it is our responsibility to learn more about our finance, so then we know how to navigate. So just in case anything happens, before we make any decision, or maybe your advisor is not available, or because that happened that in 2008 when the GFC happened, there were unfortunately some advisors who actually lost so much money. Then they went there because they are humans too. Okay, they went there and they did a very irrational decision about their money, and guess what? The same advice they did it to their clients. So you want to know that you can rely on those knowledge for yourself, so you don't have to rely on someone else's advice forever. And that's the whole idea of knowing and understanding that. And one thing I would really like you to take from today is to know that financial planning is easy. It could be as easy as learning to drive a car. And that's why it doesn't matter where you live, which country you live. Again, another client called me last week and she said she is going to US. Her husband got a job offer and they're going to US. And now she doesn't know what to do with their money and what's going to happen with all those plans and stuff. And I said to them, look, the same thing, driving. Did you even worried when you were moving to Australia thinking about, oh my God, how I'm going to drive again? Obviously not. Of course, driving, the whole fundamental is the same everywhere in the world. All you need to know is about the local rules to follow. That's all it is. For me, that I lived in different cities and a state in Australia. For those who are not in Australia, it's funny to know every state has got different driving rules here. Like in Melbourne, we have a U-turn allowed on the traffic light. In Perth, in Western Australia, is not allowed. In New South Wales, even it's not allowed. So, and believe me, I've been fined twice, and I know. So, and this is the hard way I learned. So, yes, we have to pay for our decision and consequences. Okay, so the driving, if you're moving to another country, do you ever think that, or another city, how easy it is for you to think that, okay, I'll go there and I'll hire a car and I'll go around? Because everybody does it, you think it is normal and there is nothing wrong with it. That's why, because you are confident about your driving skill. Okay, similar to that, that's what I'm trying to do, is just to raise that bar of financial knowledge, that we know enough to not obviously harm ourselves because sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, but we know what to do, that at least we will be able to get involved with the financial decision for our life, and not to leave it to our advisor, just advisor, or a spouse or someone else, or even our own kids, because unfortunately I've seen many families, many parents who are letting their children do the financial decision for them. Okay, so, and this is the reason we have the whole idea of financial knowledge, and I've been big advocate in that area, and that's my tagline, to say that financial knowledge is our social responsibility. The time is gone that now we blame others for our financial problem. This is the time that we take on the responsibility and say that, okay, I need to know enough, and then when you talk with someone, then you will make informed decision. Look, please make your questions and send them available, or if you want to ask or get involved in that, if you have anything to add on to it, I would love to hear your views on that. Okay, so this is the time to send, either put it in the chat box, or please don't be shy, unmute. I can unmute you if you put your hands up, and you can get involved in the discussion. Okay. All right, no, that is great. Look, again, these sessions, these weekly sessions we have, is all about that we want to raise the bar. That's all. It's nothing there further. And of course, if you want to have just a one-on-one session, a 15-minute free session just to have a chat, to see how we can work together, please, you know how to get in touch with me. Right, no worries, honey. Yes, yes, always happy to have you guys here. Some of you are really my fans and make me feel so good. And luckily, my cough didn't come. Yes. Thanks, Susan. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Right. Great to see you guys. Until next time and whenever we see you. So, really appreciate it. And if you think others can get benefit from these free webinars, please, next time you receive it in the emails, you can forward it to others. And yeah, that would be great. Yes. Really appreciate it. You have a wonderful evening, and I'll chat with you guys later. See you now. Bye for now.